Excuse me, Ruth. We aren't hearing anything.
Okay, are you hearing me now?
Now we are. Thank you.
Okay, helps to unmute.
Thank you.
I just thought you didn't want maybe all of the club to hear all your conversations during the. Sorry about that. Thank you. So please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, singing the national anthem and repeating the four-way test. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And you see the dawn's early light, so proud he hailed, and the twilight's last gleam, stripes and bright sky.
So the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial for all concerned? Thank you very much. And now for today, our invocation is by Vicki McGraw.
I came across this over the weekend, and first thing that came to my mind was our four-way test. No one has discovered a better way to transmit what is inside one person to the inside of another than through words. A slap to the face or a kiss doesn't get past the outer layer of skin, but a word spoken can infiltrate to the very depth of the soul, and we live with its influence forever. Learning to manage our mouth by controlling our tongue should be near the top of our priority list. The word you speak is important to your life and to the life of other people when you choose to speak to them. God created the world by his words. In a similar way, you and I create our personal everyday world by the words we speak and the words others speak to us. Many times in his word, God expresses a concern that we guard our mouth against the misuse of our words to others. Ephesians 4:29, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Please join me in prayer. Dear Lord, you have brought us to this new day again. It is an opportunity for us to get to the best of today. We thank you for yesterday. You did well, and we are trusting you for a better day today. God, renew our hearts today and help us to do what you want us to do. Lord, please forgive our past mistakes and cleanse us. We need you to strengthen us too, and let us be courageous so we won't give in. Encourage us to do more, Lord. When we are about to give up, give us strength to keep going. Help us, Lord, to be conscious of the words we speak. Let our words be edifying and full of wisdom so that we shall be filled with your power. Amen.
Thank you so much, Vicki. Wonderful. So introducing our Rotarian guest today is Vice President Marion Beckerink.
Great. Well, today we can welcome two guests to Rotary. We have Rita Freeborough. Yay. She's a guest of Diana Meckley. Thank you, Diana, for bringing Oh, well, we can remedy that. Get back in the game. And we also would like to welcome Jessica Lochner. Welcome. She is a guest of Ruth Lundeen. So welcome.
Gonna stay close by for announcements. So our Rotary Years recorder today is Walt Pickett. And as always, our many thanks to you and to the whole communications committee for all you do to help keep this club informed. Let's see, I know that we have sign-up sheets for greeters and 50-50 going around. We can also use a remote greeter for the Zoom folks next week if anyone wants to sign up in the chat. And Thursday, March 7th is the DEI, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion meeting, which will be a hybrid at CRCF and on Zoom at noon. So that's a week from tomorrow. No, that's tomorrow. Wow. And then let's see. I think if you would, the membership committee will be holding a new membership orientation on March 14th at the Community Foundation. So if anybody's interested in joining Rotary, if you submit your application, we will include you in the orientation. Marion, you got some. Oh.
Well, I'll just tag on to remind everyone to complete your Rotary surveys. We've gotten 24 responses so far, so thank you to all of you who have taken time. It's about 12 minutes worth of your time, so if you can just set that aside. We do have one paper copy. It's an anonymous survey, so obviously we're not going to hand this to anyone. I'm going to put it next to the box where the book collection is. And if somebody feels that they'd rather do this, on paper, you can certainly do that and then just drop it in the box. Otherwise, please do take some time to fill out the survey. It's really important to get your feedback. So thank you. In addition, I have some announcements from the Vision Committee, and I'm going to open my phone so I can read it. If you all remember the Gift of Life project that was helping infants with heart issues in developing countries, we had a representative here last year who was selling chocolate roses. She's had an accident with her foot, so she's not able to drive here from Buffalo, but we may have, I think Mike is going to make a connection to actually pick up the hearts for Mother's Day. But our Vision Committee did recommend a donation to that organization in the amount of $250, but we do have to get the approval of the board, so we're waiting for that. In addition, we just wanted to alert you to the handouts, the flyers that you see on your table. The RILA and RILA Junior programs are opening. That's Rotary Youth Leadership Academy, and the RILA, or the original program, is for 19 to 25-year-old individuals. So if you know somebody in that class who would like a wonderful opportunity for leadership training, that is open, and our Rotary Club supports that application of $750. There is also a RILA Junior, which used to be Slapshot, I believe. And so that's also available for students who are 15 to 18 years old. I believe that is in May when you will actually travel to Canada, and the application fee is $350, again, supported by our Rotary Club. So spread the word if you know someone who may be interested, and the details are on the District 7090 website. In addition, we are, of course, fundraising for the Books and Bib project. Look for a raffle ticket sometime soon. Kevin Sixby is leading that charge. So as soon as we get that information from him, we'll start distributing for that project. For those who don't remember, the Books and Bib project that we're doing in cooperation with Creche involves the donation of Goodnight Moon, a bilingual copy of Goodnight Moon to all new mothers in Jamestown, or I should say infants. They also receive an application for a library card. The library card will be for the infant, not for the mother. And we're also getting them interested in the story time at Prendergast. The idea is that reading at infancy is the best time to start because obviously the child is mimicking what they're hearing from their mother, and that increases their vocabulary exponentially. So we're excited about this project, but we need additional funding. So thanks so much.
Yes. And also on the Rotary 7090 website is information about 3 scholarships that the Rotary is offering. And they're $1,000 scholarships. They are for non-Rotarians. It's conflict of interest for us to give these scholarships to our own relatives. So if you know of someone who might be interested, the application process must be completed by March 15th. So get with Marion, Sherry, or myself, and we'll get you more information. Oh, other announcements.
Okay, I'm here to talk about Farch. Friday night, March 24th, 6:30 to 8:30. We're doing something different. We're doing something fun. Bring families and friends. We'd love to see guests. I think everybody, we have a chili cook-off. We've got 6 chilies already arriving. If you'd like to bring a big crock pot of chili to share with your friends and win a big or major award, which might be a great certificate. We're going to have that. We're going to have some cornbread and some bread on the side, some crackers, some wonderful food, handmade, homemade. I might convince Vicki to get me some cookies too. So we'll have a really great afternoon or evening to enjoy. I hope we can see more people there. I didn't get a lot of people signing up on the paper, but I do get tons of emails. So if you've emailed me, I have you on my list. If you'd like to email me, that's fine. My email is out there. I'm going to send out another notification. Just reply to it and I'll get you on board. Okay. 6:30 to 8:30.
6:30 to 8:30 on March 24th, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. $15, such a deal. Yes. Any other announcements from committee chairs? All right. Oh, yeah, bumper cars. I thought maybe I didn't hear you say it. Bumper cars and curling is going to be featured. So come and eat good food and make a fool of yourself. I don't know. Anyhow, so at this time, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Joni Blackman, who help us celebrate our February birthdays.
All right, first question. Is Sherry online? Do we know? She's not, that's right. How about Bob Anderson? Is Bob online? Okay, thank you. Had to do the housekeeping first. All right, so this month, we only have a few people to recognize, but they're important people. This is the avenue that our Rotary Club uses to support the Rotary International Foundation. And since the inception of this club has given over $419,000 to the foundation. So give yourselves a hand. We get an award every year if we have a number of things that can happen to get us an award from the foundation. And one of them is an average of $100 per member, which means you might have some very generous members and some people who give what they can, but it's less than 100. And when you average it out, it's 100 per person. That's one way we can do it. Another way is every Rotarian every year. So even if you give just $1 to the foundation, every member gives something, we still can get an award. So think about that when it's your birthday month. So you can put your little check or money or big check in the envelope that's hanging from the globe over there. So for March, our first birthday boy, I use the term loosely, is Doug Conroe. March 10th. March is retired. Doug is retired from Chautauqua Institution. He was director of operations. He's currently the executive director and COO of Chautauqua Lake Association. And he is our sergeant at arms every single Monday. So he gets a big hand for that. He was sponsored by Harold Peterson and joined us in 1981 and is a 4-time Paul Harris Fellow. Happy birthday, Doug. Next is Dudley Erickson, or Spud, as you may know him. He shares a birthday with Doug, both born on March 10th, not the same year. Spud is retired from WCA Hospital when it was WCA Hospital, Director of Human Resources. And does anyone remember the university he went to? Michigan State. Yeah, that's right. There's always a fight between Michigan State and Ohio, if I remember right, when Spud was here. He joined our club in 1970. He was president in 78 to 79, and he was district chair of the Polio Plus campaign from 2003 to 2008. And he is a 5-time Paul Harris Fellow. Happy birthday, Spud. Robert Anderson, Dr. Robert Anderson. He's a new member to our club in December of 2020, and his birthday is March 23rd. He is the superintendent of Gowanda Schools, so he's a little busy. He has attended Jamestown Community College, SUNY Fredonia, and the University of Nevada at Las Vegas. And Steve Sandberg brought him to us. Happy birthday, Bob. Sherry Madam Kroll, who is our past president from 2019 to 20. Her birthday is the same as Bob's, March 23rd. She is a remote worker for Boldly Subscriptions Staffing, and she's their HR coordinator. She was brought to our club in 2014 by Lisa Yagi, and she is a 2-time Paul Harris Fellow awardee. Happy birthday, Sherry. Pat Kinney, who usually sits at that table of loveliness. What is your name again? Friendship. That's it. Pat Kinney is retired government individual, worked with Sally, city of Jamestown for a while, right? Birthday is March 28th. How long? 5 years. Okay. Pat went to JCC and she joined the club in 1990. Michael Bennett brought her to us, and she is a 2-time Paul Harris Fellow, and I think she's enjoying herself in Florida right now. Happy birthday, Pat. And finally, but not least, Gail Donis, who celebrates her birthday at the end of this month, March 31st. She's up for a short while from her home in Maryland. She is a graduate of Frostburg University and McDaniel College. She joined our club in 2016, but she joined Rotary in 1989. She is a friend, and her sponsor is Diana Meckley. And Gail gets the award for the most years listed for Paul Harris Fellows in this club. I've given up counting. We're almost into double digits, folks, if not into double digits. Thank you, Gail, so much for your support of the foundation. Happy birthday. So there are only 2 people here that are eligible to win this fantastic free lunch award. And it's Gail and Doug. And so I'm going to have somebody pick this for me. And it's not going to be me, because then I'm going to get conflict of interest. I got my 2 mixed up. So, okay, pick one. Can you read it? I have one hand available. It's Doug. Doug gets a free lunch. So because it's teasing us like it's springtime, why don't we sing happy birthday to the March Robins? How's that? You could use part of it too. Okay. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marge Robin. Happy birthday to you. Wait, I gotta stay up there. Wait a minute. Okay, so now it was all smiles. Switch hats. Now I'm talking about money, but not for the foundation. So we're at our board meeting last month, Rotary board meeting, and I'm the treasurer, and we are tracking close to $300 in the hole for our lunches here. So we pay for 30 lunches every single week, and this week you get a gold star. I think there's 31 of us. Yay. But last week there were only 26 maybe. So we lost money to the tune of, $15, $16 times how many people make it up to 30. So it's 4 times 15 at least. So we should not be losing money in that line item on our budget, but we are, because we don't have enough people coming to lunch. So we need at least 30 people coming to lunch every week to make it wash. And so I'm putting this on everybody's hearts to try to come as often as you can. And I especially if those are online, if they can come, that's fine. If you're online and you can't make it ever, we understand. Maybe you can make a donation online of $5 for being here, but we got to do something because we're losing money to the point where I can't pay some of our bills until we get more money in. Okay. I can move money out of savings. Don't get me wrong. We have savings, but it just goes against me to have to do that. So we should be paying our own bills. That's what I'm telling you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joni, and thanks for all you do for Rotary with the financials and the foundation. It's really big jobs. We appreciate it. So will you give it up for Dan Heitzenrader for today's 50-50 drawing?
Thanks, Ruth. Thanks everybody for buying tickets. The pot today is $45 to the winner. Another benefit of a big crowd. If you would please draw for us. Big responsibility, yeah. All right, the winning number 064352. All right. Here you are.
Better check the number.
Yep, we're good. Awesome.
Okay, and now a hand for our Sergeant at Arms, Doug Conroe.
Happy birthday. It's always good to have a birthday, despite what they say. It's better than the option. So today, Vicki and Amy have to leave early. And Amy added to the pot because she's just so glad to be here. And that's good. This is a good place to be. Don't have a lot of people to recognize, but I do see one close to the table here. I see that in the Gazette, Roundabout Town and Fire and Ice, this person was pictured. And it's the same person that was pictured in a Post-Journal Medical Directory insert about a foundation that WCA created. So, Kirsten, welcome back to the fold. Glad you're here. And that pretty much takes care of recognitions. Beg your pardon? Oh, I always want to see you. Okay, that's good. We've been waiting. Yes, I do wait. I have patience, believe it or not. One of the things I used to do, and we've gone away from, is on this date in history. But today is really remarkable. So in 1869, chemist Dmitry Mendeleev presented the first periodic table to the Russian Chemistry Society. Think about that. How many of us had the periodic table in high school? Wow, and beyond. On this date in 1836, the Alamo fell. Whoa. On this date in 1475, Michelangelo was born. Yes. Okay. In Florence. On this date in 1857, the Supreme Court proved this year that it's no different than it was that year in its behavior, because in that year, on this date, the Dred Scott case was announced that legalized slavery in the United States. So if you don't think there's controversy about our court, it has a good history of that. But there's something else that happened on this date in March of 1981. Perhaps not all of us in the room will remember that day, but who might? Chris, you got a big smile on your face back there, so I'm gonna ask Sharon Hamilton. On this date in 1981, what did the most trusted man in America do, and who was he? You got it, Mike. Walter Cronkite retired. Okay, so I think that's it for me today. Madam Chair, perhaps some happy bucks?
Sure. Any happy bucks? I'm going to start with happy bucks. And actually, it should be much more than this. But I am just so appreciative of everybody who came and helped me get this show on the road today, because it's never easy. So Marion and Chris and everybody else who told me to take deep breaths. It would happen. Thank you.
I have two happy bucks. A lot of people do a lot of work and do great things, but there's a couple here who I think absolutely go above and beyond. And one of them we see every week when we come and register, and she takes our money, is involved. The other one travels back and forth to Albany every single week. Rarely do they get to see each other, but they are two people that truly are service above self. And in the paper today, if you read about one of them, it says, when he speaks, Albany should listen. But I want to thank Andy and and Lisa for what you do. Thank you.
I have two happy bucks. The first is for a new baby that has joined the CRCF family. Julia Niles had a baby over the weekend, Hudson Scarlett. So we're excited about that. And then the other is for, so some of you may know this, but our grant deadline at the Community Foundation was March 1st. And I don't know if it's the most number of grants ever, but it feels that way. There's about 50 grants through our geographic grant making in Faulkner and Randolph, and our community impact grant making, over $500,000 that we're going to be evaluating over the next 2 months. So, which is also my call as Rotarians. If any of you have ever wanted to participate in our grant review teams and you've never had the time or you've never been invited, consider yourselves all invited, and we'll plug you in. It's probably a couple hours of time commitment as a team, and then an hour or two of your time ahead of time reading the handful of grants that are assigned to you.
A couple happy bucks from me today. This weekend, I had the opportunity to volunteer for Cornell Cooperative Extension. They do a program for youth to do presentations and work on their research and public speaking skills. I see some nodding heads, so I think some knew they did that. I actually did not know they did that. So it was just really impressive, though, on Saturday to see some of these presentations and how sharp some of these young people are. My other happy buck is I was cleaning out a file last week, and I don't know why, but in 2015 must be, I saved a photocopy of a editorial by Roland Swanson. And the theme of the editorial was essentially respect for others, respect for each other, and improving our relationships and public discourse. And it was a nice reminder that I'll stick in another file to hopefully find in 5 or 7 years. So.
Well, March is Women History Month. With the Jamestown Gazette, the first 10, 12 years, whatever it was, we would have a nice article on our front cover. Most of the people weren't here anymore. So last year we decided that we were going to have women that are doing things right now, and they're going to be history after, you know, they retire or whatever. So last year it was Lucy Miller, it was Helen and her husband Merrill. And we also had Joan Lindquist. She writes for us. She's the one that she writes all the books about a lost neighborhood from Brooklyn Square area. And so this year we have 2 Rotarians. You can pick a paper up if you'd like. It's they're scattered out throughout this hotel. But congratulations to Ruth and Marion. Yes. And we also had Nina Kabarka and Christina Schnars. So we have 4 ladies this week. So it's congratulations.
Mine will be quick. So my 37-year-old got married and we're now having a baby. I waited till she hit 12 weeks.
Want to thank Joni for the reminder. My attendance isn't always perfect. I have some newfound money. Here's a 20. And I will, anytime I can celebrate a victory over the team up north. The basketball team at Ohio State has now successfully beat Michigan 3 times this year. Do you want to fact check me? Women's basketball.
Great. Very good. So I'm glad we're such a happy bunch today. So it's my pleasure now to welcome Becky Robbins, who is in fact also sitting in as the Rotary, and we thank you for that, to introduce our speaker today.
Today, we welcome Deb Eck, who's described, I actually Googled her to find out more information, so I hope it's all correct, but she's a teaching artist who directs and operates the Pearl City Clay House, a venture of Infinity Visual and Performing Arts in Jamestown. And the Clay House is located on East 2nd Street across from the Jamestown Police Department. Deb is a British artist who lives and works in Jamestown and teaches also at Infinity. She also is a visiting curator of the Weeks Gallery at JCC this academic year. She is a SUNY Distinguished Adjunct who formerly taught at JCC and SUNY Fredonia, as well as at workshops and book arts across the USA and Europe. She's an internationally exhibited mixed media artist whose work focuses on the lives and work of women using thread, paper, and text. She exhibits her work worldwide and has been honored with countless awards. Deb's career is very interesting in itself, but primarily today, she's here to speak about the Pearl City Clay House, a playhouse for adults as well as for school students. Deb?
Okay, now for the technology part. Just gonna find the call. You need to share sound also, or no? Can you see the pictures? All right, so I'd like to thank you all for inviting me to be here today. As a former college lecturer, I probably don't actually need this microphone. I probably can make you hear me in the back of the room, right? So Pearl City Clay House is a program of Infinity. So I'm just gonna switch to this. I gave the cheer for Michelangelo because my personal philosophy is that the visual arts and just making in general, whether it's crafting or fixing your plumbing or repairing your car, creativity is a part of what makes us human. And by making things, it reminds us that the world is not immutable, that everything in this world can be changed and you can be the agent of that change, which is kind of a big, heavy load to put on the back of one small institution down on 2nd Street, but it's part of my plan for world domination. So stay tuned. So I work for Infinity, and I hope that everybody in the room already knows what Infinity does. But in case you don't, Shane down at Infinity is a powerhouse of a human being who provides opportunities for the youth in our community to experience music, visual arts, performance, dance, and we serve over 2,000 students each year. Infinity just keeps growing. And the more it grows, the more demand there is for the services. In fact, for the first time ever, we have wait lists of students who are waiting for classes. So if you know anybody who can instruct in any of the visual or performing arts, send them our way because we could use them. Funding for arts education is difficult to secure, and Shane spends a lot of time writing grants. And I've known Shane for over a decade, and for more than a decade, we've been scheming, I think is a good word, trying to figure out a way to bring money to the Infinity program, but also to do what I love, which is give adults an opportunity to remember that they really liked crayons when they were 3, and there's nothing really scary about the visual arts. And everybody should give it a try again. And it doesn't really matter if that teacher in 7th grade told you you were doing it wrong, because I'm here to tell you that you can't do it wrong. There isn't a wrong. So you should come down and give it another try. So we tried offering programs for adults within the Infinity program, but it wasn't a terribly successful attempt because Infinity is a secure building. You have to be buzzed in and out. It's not very welcoming if you're just coming to have a fun time making a collage or something. And so we decided it would be really wonderful if we could make a sister program for Infinity that was geared primarily to adults. And that's really where I came into the story. And so we felt when the Comedy Center was being proposed that this might be our opportunity to take the leap. With more people coming from outside into our community, it might offer us the economic leverage that we needed to make a space for adults that would invite tourists and members of our community in, and would allow us to create an economic model that would serve both populations equally. And so this was kind of the idea that we started with, this idea that Infinity could benefit from a program that would be driven by adults, and that lots of different constituencies within our community and outside of our community could find a place to come and play. And so I think of the Clay House as a piece in the puzzle of developing this community that I've grown to love in the years that I've lived here. If anybody wants to read this really kind of boring economic driven slide, I'll be happy to send it to you. I just want to get to the fun pictures of people having a good time. So I believe that art is really important, but lots of other research shows that art is good for communities too. It can alleviate depression. It can build a place for community. It can increase your social opportunities because you're doing something. You don't have to come up with small talk. If you're an introvert like me, going to an event where I have to talk about something and there's not a thing that I have to talk about is really challenging. It's good for your brain to learn something new. It's good for your brain plasticity to keep learning new things as you become an adult. It's a really great way to reduce stress and anxiety, and it's really good fun. We have a lot of fun. Wait till you see the pictures. And we all need a way to get away from this, right? All of the technology that we live on 24 hours a day. There was I don't even know what I was watching last night because I happened to walk into the room, but somebody was talking about the environmental impact of data centers, where all of that cloud stuff lives and the impact it's having on our environment. So I think it's good to get off our phones every once in a while and do something in the real world. So our vision, as we started to brainstorm about this space, was that it would be an inclusive space where anybody could come, a place where you could unplug from the virtual world and do something in the real world, somewhere where you could learn to express yourself and find your creative voice. One of the things I think is really important about art is there's no definitive answer, which makes it a really poor choice for a college major. If anybody has children who are thinking that they're going to take an art elective because it will be an easy A, I'm just going to strongly suggest that you dissuade them from that opinion. And one of the benefits to having a problem is that you get to work through a solution, right? So, and of course, it's a fun place where people can build a community. When we were thinking about how we were going to fund this and whether it would really make a good economic driver for Infinity, we spent a lot of time thinking about who would come if we built the space. So obviously we wanted to attract tourists, and good news, this Saturday, the first bunch of tourists who had just been to the Comedy Center came down, walked in, and spent some time at my center too. Yay! It worked. We also thought about couples or groups of adults who are looking for something to do that doesn't involve eating or drinking. There's lots of great places to eat and drink here, but you can only have so many dinners. People who wanted to create memories with their family. And I have to say that this has been really true. We've had lots of intergenerational groups of families who've come, grandparents, children, grandchildren, and spent time creating things together. For people who have always wanted to learn how to do that. That's me. I'm always looking for a new thing to learn how to do. Seniors or retirees or empty nesters who suddenly find themselves with time on their hands and don't know what to do with it, like my husband who just retired this year. Corporate groups. If you have a corporate group that needs to learn some soft skills, you can bring them to me. I've got plenty to teach them. And artists in the community who want to learn something new, build on skills that they have, or form a community. The other thing that I thought about a lot, because this is me, I travel a lot and take classes with artists all over the world. And there's not any reason at all why people couldn't travel here to Jamestown to take classes with artists from all over the world. So stay tuned for more on that. So this is our new building. It's on 2nd Street, right across from the police station. It has big signs on the window now, so you should be able to find us. For a while, we didn't have any graphics in the window. And the building, the new windows are kind of a dark bronze black, so it didn't really make us pop out on the street. So we have around 4,000 square feet. So what can you do while you're there? You can paint your own pottery. So we have pre-made, precast slip bisqueware. So it's been fired once. You can come in, paint it with some glaze. We'll put it through the kiln. When you come back, it will be beautiful and shiny And even when it's painted by a 3-year-old, and I should have bought an example, it looks awesome. And if 3-year-olds can do it, I'm pretty sure you all can too. And if you're not certain about that, I'm going to give a little plug here. We have a really great local artist and illustrator called Sarah, who starting the week after Easter on Thursdays is going to do a paint and sip night where you can paint your own table setting. So she will walk you step by step through everything you need to do to make something that looks like that example on the far left of the slide. And if you want to see it in person, stop down and see. You could go on a clay date. This adorable couple here is actually my son and his partner. But we have had several of these events now. I think most of the people out here are old enough to remember Ghost. So there's a big, historic precedent for having a good romantic time with some clay. We had a really great Valentine's Day event with couples from the early 20s all the way through. We had a really good time. You could come to a Clady's night. So if you're trying to think of something to do with the girls, I'm going to tell you that these nights are a lot of fun and there is a lot of laughing and really good times going on. The other really good thing is that although you have to do some of the cleanup, you get to leave most of the mess behind. So we've done lots of family events and workshops already. So you could bring your children, your grandchildren, your children and your grandchildren down for a family event. We have a new program starting up next month. It's called Clay Club. It'll be on Saturdays. So you could bring the favorite small person in your life down to do something fun with clay. So while we don't do any programs for unaccompanied kids, we do lots of things where you can bring your children. And again, you make the mess, we clean it up. You get the experience and the fun, and you get a really wonderful memento of that time, a physical thing that you get to keep and remember. We also do private events for adults and birthday parties. We do group and corporate events. So this is a very bad picture of a very beautiful space. We have a gallery and event space, which has its own kitchen and bathrooms. So that if you need a space for a private gathering or a workshop or a, some kind of business function, this is a really, really awful picture of what is really, really fabulous space. And I really encourage you to come down and take a look at it. It's just difficult to photograph. It's kind of long and thin, and it has kind of subdued, pretty lighting. So one of the things that was important to me was to build a place, not just for people outside of the community to come to, but for people within our community. Because I've been a curator for a long time and because I moved to this community from somewhere else, you probably have guessed that by now. I wanted to provide opportunities for local artists to grow their skills, to meet artists from other areas, to build community, and to build visibility for them. Most artists like me are really small business owners. I pay sales taxes, I pay business taxes, but we're kind of invisible. You don't always know that we're there. So we have something called SASSY, which is our Saturday Art and Social Society for artists on Saturdays. That's kind of in the title, I guess. Every other Saturday we get together, we hang out, we bring what we're working on, we have a cup of coffee. We're offering professional development and business of art classes and scholarships and opportunities for local artists to become part of our community and use our equipment. So if you come down to see me on 2nd Street, you could learn how to throw a pot. And this picture right here, I'm going to have it put on my wall. If you guys can't see it, this is the reason I do what I do, because this woman's face, She is having the best time of her life. She had never thrown clay before on the wheel, and she just was having a ball. I have to warn you, it's not quite as easy as it looks on YouTube or TikTok, but it is a lot of fun. So you maybe getting muddy with clay is not your thing. You could learn how to bind a book or paint with oils or draw in pen and ink, or like these two lovely ladies here who some of you might recognize, learn to make some paper sculpture. We offer lots of one-day workshops. So gnomes, for some reason, are having a moment in the spotlight right now. Every gnome class we've offered is sold out. Everybody wants to make a gnome in Jamestown. Don't really know what that's all about, but it's fun and we love it. So here are some Valentine's Day Gnomios and Juliets from a workshop we held in February. And here is Alyssa making a slab built mug. So not everybody has to throw on the wheel. Not everybody wants to throw on the wheel. But if you just want to come down and get your hands muddy, we have something for everybody to try. We're also planning to offer master classes for ceramic artists in the community who are already familiar with how to work with clay, to bring in artists from outside our community to teach them a new specific skill. So if you want to know what's going on down at the Clay House, the best way to find out is to go to our website, pearlcityclayhouse.org, which was actually built by one of our Infinity graduates. And our graphic design was done by Marilyn Martin from Register Graphics, who was a colleague of mine at JCC. So on the website under programming, you can find an extensive list of all of the classes and workshops and events that we have coming up. And it would be super helpful to me and to our project in general if you would like us on social media, if you hang out on social media and share our posts with your friends and family, because it doesn't matter how much we push things out. It's much more successful if other people help us get the word out. But really what I really want is for everybody I see in the room today to come down and visit me at some point and just take a tour of the building, see it. It's a beautiful space that totally could not have happened without the support of a very large number of people and community, foundations, funders, who all got on board with our crazy idea and provided this great space for our community to come out and play. So I really encourage you just to come down. You don't have to sign up for anything. I'll give you a tour. I'll show you around. You can see how beautiful the space is. You can see all the people laughing and having a great time. I realized I skipped over something. We also have a lot of local community members, ceramic artists who haven't had an opportunity to practice their craft because all of the things involved with ceramics are kind of a pain in the neck to put into your home. A wheel, messy, kiln, needs specialized electric. So we have all of those things. So maybe you took ceramics in high school and you haven't done it since and you want to pop down and give it a try. Come down, become part of our community. All right. Thanks so much for the opportunity, folks. Questions, anyone?
I just wondered if you had a regular schedule every day.
Excellent question. Yes. So we have regular business hours. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 3 to 8 and Saturday from 10 to 9. So the question was about accommodating private groups. So if you want to throw on the wheel, 10 or 11 people. If you want to hand build or take a workshop in something other than clay, between 12 and 18. Yes. It is an adult space, so you may bring adult beverages to your classes and workshops. Everything's more fun with wine. And actually sometimes a little easier with wine because your guard is down a little bit, right? So if you just want to give it a try, the thing I would recommend is that you sign up for what we call a Wheel Explorer class or any Explorer class. Any class that's tagged Explorer is designed for absolute beginners with no experience whatsoever. And they're really short classes, but particularly if you're interested in clay, it gives you an opportunity to come down and do the fun part, which is make a big mess on the wheel. But you don't have to do any of the boring part and trim and fire and glaze your part because we do all of that for you. So you come down, you make a big mess, you have a really great time with your friends for a couple of hours, and then you come back in 2 or 3 weeks and we hand you a beautiful pot that you made. And hopefully everybody has on the table in front of them a really beautiful brochure that was made for us. I just have to offer you one caveat. When we sent it to the printers, we got the wrong QR code on the back. So it actually goes to my daughter's business's website. Just completely accidental, but it's been great for her. But if you get to her website, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see a link to take you back where you belong, which is to us. My daughter has her own bridal shop in Fredonia. So if you end up on a bridal shop website, you're in the right place, actually.
Deb, thank you so much. And I want to let you know that one of Rotary's major international programs is to eradicate polio in the world. And in honor of your presentation and thanks to you, our club today will make a donation in your name that will vaccinate 4 children who will never experience polio in their life. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, and we're adjourned.